Hello everyone, today we'll be going over the group policy OU, and at the same time we'll create an automatic shared folder for users to have access to their own files on the network. More often than not, in previous places that I've worked for, sysadmins can sometimes expect a bit much from the users. Take for example, adding a shared driver that's on a network. To the average user, a folder is just a folder, so when Windows starts to prompt them with questions, users don't really know what's going on, and they'll just click whatever to continue. This causes a headache for both us as sysadmins and to them as users. So I think we personally have a responsibility to make people's lives easier. When they log on their computer, they just simply need to click a few buttons for their system and everything's ready to go. Anyways, I'm sort of finished my little mini rant. Let's begin. So basically today we'll be setting up the GPO policies for users in our Active Directory. So instead of going to each computer and adjusting the settings, we can just put them on the GPO, and once they're connected to the active domain, they'll have these settings pushed onto their account and computer. For today, we won't go too deep into some pretty neat policies that Windows provides, but instead we'll tackle the main objective, which is to just add a basic group policy and to map a shared drive. So for now, let's start by going to what I did actually before we continue is I created a folder already. If you look here, open up Explorer, I created a folder under my C as test. I also gave it the sharing properties for people on my domain. If you take a look here, domain users. To make things easier, we could also just add everyone. I'm not looking to have any sort of issues to go and look for. Alright, so I have that there. It's already been made. What I'm going to do is we're going to start by doing the first thing. What I'm going to do for mine is I'm going to remove the run menu from users for when they log on. So if we go to tools, group policy management, okay, it opens up here. If you go to our domain under the forest, we should have, there we go. So you can see I have several objects. I have a domain, another GPO that I already made, but I won't be using that for today. Let's just create a new one instead. So we're going to call it removed run option. All right, let's call it. We can call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Okay, so now that that's done, we're going to right click on the group policy and we're going to click edit. Just going to grab that here and expand it to make it easier. Now we're in the policy management editor. So here's where you pretty much search for what options Windows provides for certain what policies there are on Windows. There's no real search function in this. I find it's a bit sort of lacking on that side. You could always just Google for what you're looking for. I Googled mine pre-hand and I suggest you do the same. So without further ado, let's go. I've located mine. It's going to be under user configuration, under policies, and the administrative template. Then we're going to go to our start menu and taskbar, and you're presented here with a bunch of things that you can play around with. For now, I'm looking for remove run menu from the start menu. So let's go and set this by alphabetical setting. So if you just click on the setting, it'll automatically organize them by name. So I see it right here, remove run menu from start menu. So double click on that and you see it's not configured. And if we look at the little help thing, it tells us that it allows you to remove the run command from the start menu and task manager. And it pretty much gives you a full description of what you're actually setting. So in order for us to remove, I know this can be a bit confusing sometimes. In order for us to remove the menu, the run menu from start menu, we need to enable it. So we're going to enable it to remove it. So we click enable, apply, okay, and that's done. And that's about it. It's pretty simple. So now that that's done, let's create a new group policy. I did say that we wanted to make the share folder. So that's why I created this test folder under my C drive. So just give me 1 second here. Okay, so we're going to assign a drive letter to a user so that they can have a backup folder on the server. So again, right click on our domain, create a GPO in the domain and link it here. And we're going to call it the shared folder GPO. Again, you can name it whatever you want. I'm just not really imaginative at this point in time. So we'll right click on it and choose edit. And as I mentioned before, I pre-looked these up. What it's going to be under is user configuration, preferences, Windows settings, and drive map. So once we're here, let me open that up a bit bigger. Let's right click inside the box here and we're going to click new mapped drive. So a new window pops up. So it's going to say that's the first thing we see here is the action. So when the user logs on, what is it going to do the first thing? Do we want it to create a new drive every time it does that? We want to replace the one that is currently there, update it or delete it. For this purpose of the lab, or for the sake of lab purposes for today, we're just going to put update. Now the next thing is the location. I copied it, the folder location pre-hand. So this is where it's going to be. Reconnect on logon. And show this drive, and you can, if you look here, you can assign it letters. I'm going to give it the letter W. Okay, and so that's done. So now that should be everything. Let me just switch over to our next VM so that I can show you that it's working. Okay, so we're back in our other VMs. We're under the user Adam. Let me just make sure I'm on the same domain here. So you can see we're connected to the wosen.com domain. Perfect. So if that's true now, if I go to my here and I type in run and I try and run it, you can see the restriction pops up. The operations canceled due to restrictions, effects, and contact your administrator. That's great. And if we go to our Explorer and PC, we can see the test, the network drive is here. And inside it's that picture that I had before. It's just a red picture. Perfect. So that's about everything for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in for next time. Bye.